What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fantasy Goods. Football season is back. Yes! And I'm so happy I finally get my fantasy football on, bro. Sorry about week one because I was so, all over the place with, fantasy drafts and pools and pick'em leagues and all this other stuff. But we got you for week two. Week two coming at you. Injuries and waiver wire pickups starting up now. Alright, so let's start off with some injuries. Josh, do you want to break it down?
Yeah, let's go over a couple injuries that are carrying over from week one. Big name, Kenny Golladay, missed week one due to a hamstring injury. He might come back this week, but he's still in question right now. Guys that you should have rostered to replace that volume or at least look at is Marvin Jones Jr. if you don't already have him rostered. If he's out there, I doubt it. He's owned in majority of leagues. Danny Amendola actually led the team in receiving. He's out on most waiver wires. You can scoop him. And TJ Hawkinson had a good game, putting up 13 points, looking like a pretty solid tight end. Definitely an improvement over last year. Next, we got Miles Sanders, missed week one, also with a hamstring injury. Not sure. He's probably more likely than Golladay to come back this week from what I've been reading into. They're hopeful that he will be back is exactly what came out of the coach's mouth. The only guy that you really need to have to replace him is Boston Scott. He wasn't fantastic week one, but they also lost to the Washington Redskins, so the game flow did not go for the run game. Next would be James Conner. I'm a little worried if I'm a James Conner owner right now because it was an ankle injury that they held him out the entire second half of the game for, but it came back not even as a sprain. So it's like a questionable injury, if it's even an injury.
And Benny
Snell went off, yeah. So, I mean, if I'm you, I'm monitoring this closely all week and trying to pick up Snell as an insurance plan just in case they wind up sitting him or, dumbing his carries down and touches down.
Handcuff.
And one more quick mention for all you Cowboys fans. I actually had him as probably going to be a breakout tight end this year. Was Blake Jarwin. He wound up tearing his ACL week one. He is done for the season. A couple waiver wire pickups you can look at. Dallas Goedert. I know he's an Eagle, but he had a great week one. And if you're just looking to replace him with somebody from that team, Dalton Schultz, but he wasn't that impressive in my opinion. But let's get into some of the bigger injuries here. Benny, who you got for number one? Big injuries.
Big injury, number one, let's start with Marlon Mack. Because I know all them Jonathan Taylor owners are so happy because I'm one of them. 2 leagues. But yeah, Marlon Mack tore his Achilles. Out for the whole season. Nyheim Hines, good waiver wire pickup. I don't see him intruding onto Jonathan Taylor now that he's the week 2 starter. No, I almost said week 1. The week 2 starter is Jonathan Taylor. Nyheim Hines is going to be behind him. Nyheim Hines had his years where he could have took that role over. Never happened. Jonathan Taylor is the man to have, but both of them boost up.
For sure.
Next one.
Yep. Yeah, Nyheim Hines is definitely that pass-catching back. You know how much Phillip Rivers loves his pass-catching backs. Look what he did with Eckler. So definitely take a look into Hines. But George Kittle hurt his knee. It is a sprained knee. If you watch the play, defender rolled up on it, kind of looked like it hyperextended. There's no timetable on whether he's going to play or not this week. But if he doesn't play, I expect a 1 to 2 week, he'll be out and then return. But somebody you can target in the same offense that has some upside would be Jordan Reed, in my opinion. They brought him in to back up Kittle. I could see even if Kittle plays, maybe they don't target him because they didn't even target it. Kittle played through the injury for the rest of the game, but didn't get targeted at all. So maybe they run, some 1-2 offense there. They're a heavy run team anyway, so that's more blockers on the field. And Jordan Reed might get a couple looks that normally Kittle would get. So there's some upside there in a Jordan Reed pickup.
Yeah. Go. Next, we're going to talk about Devontae Parker. Okay. He has an hamstring injury. He's questionable for week 2. We don't really know how long he's going to be questionable for. Preston Williams goes up. Big boost for him. Mikey G, my boy, Mike Jasinski, goes up. He's going to see some targets also. And if you're looking at a deep league, if you're looking for that waiver wire pickup, Jakeem Grant. He plays the slot. He's a deep threat, and you're going to get those extra points. He's on special teams, and he receives those points.
Yeah, if he takes one back, you get 6, guys. Yeah, don't forget about that. The kick returners have a little more value than regular friggin' receivers and running backs.
Tyreek Hill, that's why he goes so high.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Talent, too.
Him and Mecole Hardman.
That's extra points. Yeah.
Him and Mecole Hardman,
All right, let's go for the next one.
All right. Next, we got to talk about Le'Veon Bell. all you Le'Veon Bell owners, I'm one myself. I drafted him, and I thought it was a good idea at the time. Who else they got there, right? He's going to get crazy volume. Well, he aggravated a hamstring injury, and then for some reason the training staff let him play through it for a quarter. God knows why they did that. But now he's on IR, guys. But it's IR designated for return, so he'll be back in 4 weeks. The earliest he could return is week 5. So there are some other running backs. I'd stay away from the Jets, especially this week. They're going against San Francisco defense. But some guys I'd target on this team, if you're looking to replace it with this, would be, Frank Gore. LaMichael Perrine was the number 3 back behind Frank Gore before he was injured. And then Josh Adams, who scored a touchdown in week 1. Those are 3 guys. It's a mess. I honestly want to stay away from that. I really wouldn't want another Jets running back unless it was Le'Veon Bell. But if you got to have them, those are the guys to look at.
Yeah.
But finish us off, Ben. Who we got? Finish the injuries.
Let's finish with Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
High ankle sprain. He's questionable. Didn't really give us an amount of time he's going to be out, but me and him both agree probably between 2 and 4 weeks.
They said several, so that's 2 to 4 in my opinion.
2 to 4 weeks. Manuel Sanders owners goes up. Let's see. Traquan Smith, if you have an extra roster spot on your bench, or you have Michael Thomas and you need someone to replace him. Not saying that Traquan Smith is going to replace Michael Thomas, but Traquan Smith is exactly like Michael Thomas. He's a big receiver, and Drew Brees. He's going to have that connection. He's been on the team for a couple of years already, so, you can definitely see him getting some targets. And Jared Cook, boost, up, boom. Well, Michael Thomas there, look at all those receptions. Yep. Somebody's getting the ball. And if you have one of those 3 players, I'm sure you're going to hit on at least one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's it for injuries, guys. Those are the big names. And now we're going to get into some waiver wire claims that you need to be looking into. Ben, start us off. Who we got?
Yeah, the number 1 waiver wire pickup that I saw a lot of people picking is Malcolm Brown. 26 points in PPR format against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what it is with the Rams, but they always get the Cowboys on the run game. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is Malcolm Brown, but last time was like C.J. Anderson or some shit.
Yeah.
But they're playing the Eagles this week. As of right now, I would start Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me season long, that backfield is such a mess. Darrell Henderson's getting healthy. He was hyped for a couple years, saying right behind Todd Gurley. People were talking about him, especially in fantasies. I like him as a waiver wire pickup this week.
Yeah. Cam Akers owners, you're going to have to pump the brakes and wait. I don't think he's startable yet. But Ben sees Henderson taking the starting job eventually. I see Akers.
Yeah.
But, definitely Malcolm Brown worth the pickup this week. Number 2 on my waiver wire pickup here would have to be Dallas Goedert, guys. I'm a Giants fan, so it pains me to say it, but these tight ends in Philly have to be rostered. Dallas Goedert put up 24.1 points in PPR last week against, and now he goes against the Rams, who is a pretty tough matchup, but the way this Eagles receiving core and receiving game is going to work, it's going to be tight end heavy. You got guys like Jalen Reagor, who's kind of nicked up with a shoulder injury. Alshon Jeffrey is out. He's on the PUP list. And you got an aging Deshaun Jackson. And then in the slot, you got a guy, Denzel Ward, who makes a play here and there, but nothing spectacular. So the big receiving options are going to be these tight ends. And I absolutely think that both of them need to be rostered, and both of them will finish top 10 tight ends by season end. Zach Ertz even came out and said earlier before the season started that, I want to be in Philly, but I don't know if they want me. And I think now that he's on the end of his contract, and they got a young guy that they invested a first-round pick in Dallas Goedert, they're going to start pushing Goedert forward and see if he could take that starting role, so that way they could see if they can move on from Ertz.
But like we were talking about before, though, with Zach Ertz, in Dallas Goedert, they can be like the Patriots. Yeah. They could be that Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, so why would they not want to keep both?
Yeah,
that's just my point.
It's all about the money,
man. They ain't got no wide receivers.
Yeah.
So why not have 2 great tight ends?
Yeah,
it works.
I think
mismatches.
I think that works for this year, but we'll see.
And Dallas Goedert can damn well be a top 12 tight end.
He already finished top 10 last year, guys. So there you go. And hopefully, if they wind up being like the Patriots, just no murder.
All right, so my next, I'm gonna do 2 right now. Frank Gore, Josh Adams. 2.4 points for Frank Gore, 10-2 for Josh Adams. I'm just going to be like the Jets and quit while I'm ahead. I'm a pass. They're playing San Fran. That's a nice defense. It's nothing to mess with, at least. I can't see Frank Gore and Josh Adams doing anything. Maybe, if they're lucky, they can drive the ball and possibly get a goal line carry for a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's what you're hoping. That's what you're hoping for. But other than that, deep leagues, if you have no running back, I guess it's worth the pickup. You never know. But if you're just looking to pick somebody up, I want to pick these guys.
Yeah, no.
Well, let's go to our next one.
Yeah, I'd rather pick up this guy than any Jets running back right now, and that's Adrian Peterson on the Lions backfield. We talked about two guys who I don't like their backfield, the Rams backfield, which is a mess, and now you threw in Adrian Peterson into the Lions backfield. And he took the lion's share of the carries. He wound up putting up 14.4 points. Had a great day, honestly. But I like Adrian Peterson. I think that DeAndre Swift, they're trying to push him. He's in Adrian Peterson's in a similar situation that Malcolm Brown's in, where he might not start for the whole season, and they got a rookie behind that they're trying to push. But DeAndre Swift wound up fumbling the game-winning touchdown, in week 1. So I think that, they're going to be like, okay, you're not ready yet. We'll go with the savvy veteran and let him take, the carries until you can improve your ball security. And that means that Adrian Peterson is going to be getting some good workload here in Detroit, which traditionally isn't really a running team. So just know that there's going to be a cap on those carries, but I think he's worth a pickup, guys. You got to roster him. Adrian Peterson going against Green Bay, which is a friendly matchup this week.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Dan. Who you got next?
All right, I'm going to go with Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly on the Chargers. Got 12 points last week in PPR format. He's going against Carolina Panthers. Their defense is Swiss cheese, in my opinion. Eckler is still the man. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Eckler is still that man. Can he hold the whole workload?
No.
Maybe not. Maybe he can. But I tell you right now, when Melvin Gordon was there, he had someone to pound that ball in when Austin Eckler had all that PPR catches. Josh Kelly can be that Melvin Gordon. Not saying right now.
Leveled down, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying right now, but I'm saying later on in the year, 8, 9, especially if Eckler gets hurt, he can definitely put up RB2 numbers. That's what I think.
I agree.
Let's
finish it up here.
Yeah, let's finish it up.
My last guy I'm going to talk about, you might want to look at on waivers, would be Corey Davis. Now, look, Corey Davis has been a dud. Every year people have got him, and I understand that if you've had him, he's a dud. But he kind of raised some eyebrows in week 1, catching 7 of his 8 targets for over 100 yards, putting up 17.1 points against a pretty decent secondary with Denver. And he's going against Jacksonville, which their defense is awful, even though they wound up winning in week 1. But I think that now that all the pressure isn't on Corey Davis and the attention is towards A.J. Brown, I think this takes some of the pressure off Corey Davis and will give him a chance to succeed with the targets that he does get now. Because, now everyone's worrying about him. But I think Corey Davis is worth a stash if you've got a bench spot that's open, or somebody's hurt and you can put him in an IR spot, pick up a receiver for depth, and just see what he becomes. If he starts to show that he could be consistent, then you could throw him in a flex.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up today. We talked about our week 2 injuries, week 2 pickups. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a comment. If you have any questions about your roster, if you don't know who to play, leave a comment. We're glad to help you. That's what we're here for. We love doing this.
Yeah, or get at us, ask us any questions you want about any roster questions, any pickup questions. You could get at us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll answer whatever we can help you with, guys.
Yeah. But until then, we are the Fantasy Goods,
and we got the goods.